7 Stratocaster models you must avoid, and 3 that are actually real Fenders. That guitar on the wall looks exactly like the one Hendrix played. It's not. Here's what they don't tell you. We went through the entire Stratocaster market. We tested builds. We broke down bolt patterns, fretwork, wood grades, electronics. We investigated what guitar companies don't want you to know. These are the Stratocaster models you need to avoid. And by the end of this video, we'll show you which 3 are actually worth your money. Number 7. The Glary GST. You've seen it on Amazon. Around $60. $60. And it looks like a Stratocaster. Same body shape, same 3 pickups, same tremolo arm. Canadians and Americans buy this by the thousands for their kids, or as a first guitar, believing they're getting a deal. Here's what you're actually getting. The pickups are ceramic single coils sourced for roughly $3 each wholesale. Reviewers who tested the Glary head-to-head against real Strats described distortion as fizzling out. When you kick on a pedal, the mids and highs collapse entirely. The nut is a large, poorly cut plastic piece that catches strings and contributes directly to tuning instability. One review documented fixing it with a pencil, rubbing graphite into the grooves just to make it playable. The tremolo block is thin stamped metal. The saddles are die-cast pot metal. The fretboard radius doesn't match standard Strat specs, so players switching from a real Fender feel the difference immediately. You are not buying a Stratocaster, you are buying a photograph of one, and Glary is far from alone. Number 6. The Donner DST 100, around $130. Donner has positioned itself above the rock-bottom Glary tier, and technically they're right. The electronics work. The guitar produces sound through an amp. But here's the problem. The pickups are the same $3 eBay units used across the entire no-name Chinese market. Electronics reviewers who opened the control cavity found the same mass-produced components, regardless of brand name on the headstock. Donner has upped their quality slightly, as one forum veteran noted, but that means they have gone from unusable to barely usable. The neck profile doesn't match a real Strat C shape. The radius is typically 14 to 16 inches. Flat, fast, fine for metal, completely wrong for a Stratocaster. Traditional Strat players feel it immediately. You think you're buying a beginner Stratocaster. You're buying a generic guitar in a Strat-shaped body. And the brand name on the headstock? It means nothing. But here's where it gets truly disturbing. The next brand is one you know. You've seen it in every music store in the country. And what Fender doesn't want you to realize will shock you. Before we get there, take a second to subscribe and hit like. It helps push this investigation to the players who need to see it. Number 5. The Squier Bullet Stratocaster. This one stings more because Squier is owned by Fender. The Bullet costs around $140 new. It carries the Squier name. It says Stratocaster on the headstock. Parents buy this for their kids believing they're getting an actual piece of the Fender legacy. The reality is more complicated. We tested Squier bullets across multiple music stores. Here's what the reviews and players consistently document. Sharp fret ends. So sharp that one reviewer's high E string was physically catching on the fret wire while playing. One independent reviewer tested 8 Bullet Strats across 4 stores. 6 of the 8 had unacceptably sharp fret ends. 6 out of 8. That's a 75% failure rate on basic finish work. The nut installation is frequently botched. One tested unit showed excess glue leaked onto the fretboard during installation, visible to the eye. The tuners are cheap enough that Sweetwater reviewers called them out specifically for imprecision. Intonation problems are documented across forums, with high E strings that cannot be corrected because the bridge saddle has already reached maximum travel. The tremolo system is thin and soft, and the strings that come on the guitar out of the box, replace them immediately. They are not playable quality. Squier is Fender's affordable brand. That sounds like a good thing. But it means Fender has a budget guitar subsidiary specifically designed to capture parents and beginners who want the Fender name at a price they can afford. The Bullet is Fender's lowest rung, not a beginner Stratocaster, but a product built to a price point with Fender branding on the box. And Canadians and Americans pay for that brand premium every single day. Number 4. The Fender Standard Stratocaster. Yes, a Fender. Made in Mexico, introduced in late 24 as the new entry point below the Player series. Street price around $499. Ceramic pickups. Not alnico like the player models. Poplar body, a tremolo block described as satin chrome steel that reviewers found reminiscent of the old Stratocaster Plus aesthetically, but nothing special tonally. The tuners, in the words of one hands-on reviewer, are fine but nothing to get super excited about, and lack the feel of fine engineering you get further up the price chain. At $500 for a Fender-branded guitar with ceramic pickups and a poplar body, you are paying primarily for the logo. The Squier Classic vibe, at roughly $300, has bone nut, alnico pickups, and a reputation for punching well above its weight. The Fender Standard costs $200 more and gives you less. That's not an accident, that's a pricing strategy. Number 3. The Fender Player Stratocaster, recent production runs. This one is going to hurt some of you. The Player series, made in Ensenada, Mexico, is the world's best-selling guitar line. Hundreds of thousands of units move annually, and for years, it was a legitimate value proposition. But something has changed in quality control, and the guitar community has been documenting it. Players who tested multiple units at Guitar Center and independent stores in 23 and 24 reported the same pattern. Fret ends so rough, they described the work as someone having swiped them once or twice with a file and called it good. One reviewer went through a Player Telecaster at rehearsal and found no ground wire and scratchy pots. Another documented a volume pot that failed within weeks. Forum threads from 23 and 24 show players across North America reporting sharp fret ends, high frets, nuts cut too shallow, and intonation arriving wildly off from the factory. One poster described the Player and MIM Fenders as having some of the worst fretwork I've seen on a new guitar, including guitars in the sub-$200 range. At $849, that is unacceptable. Fender is a massive corporation optimizing for volume and margin. The Player Strat line ships in quantities that require assembly line production with inconsistent hand finishing, and you are paying premium prices for inconsistent quality. Most Canadians and Americans who buy a Player Strat trust the brand. That trust is not always warranted, and here's what should really concern you. The next brand is one that musicians have venerated for decades. It's part of guitar mythology. And what it actually is, underneath the vintage aura, is the original corporate quality decline story. Number 2. CBS-era Fender Stratocasters, the hidden danger in the vintage market. If you're shopping for a vintage Fender Strat between 1965 and 1984, listen closely. In January 1965, Leo Fender sold his company to CBS, Columbia Broadcasting System, for $13 million. CBS viewed Fender as a profitable consumer brand to be optimized, and they optimized it straight into the ground. Here's the documented list of changes CBS made. Polyurethane finishes replaced nitrocellulose lacquer, thicker, cheaper to apply, and widely documented to damp the wood's natural resonance, producing guitars that players described as sounding less vibrant than pre-CBS instruments. Northern ash replaced southern swamp ash as the primary body wood, heavier, less resonant, harder to carve, leading to inconsistently shaped contour bodies. In 1971, CBS redesigned the synchronized tremolo bridge using Mazak, a cheaper die-cast alloy, for knife-edge parts, with the saddles blamed by technicians for loss of sustain and a thinner tone. The headstock was enlarged. Leo Fender himself later called it, without a doubt, the stupidest idea we ever came up with. Bodies were assembled from more pieces of lower quality, mismatched wood, hidden under increasingly opaque sunburst finishes nicknamed Target Burst, and then Faux Burst by collectors. Auto winders replaced hand-guided coil, winding for pickups, with conversion ratios that changed the character of the wound coils. If you are paying vintage prices, which can range from $1,500 to $20,000 and beyond, for a CBS-era Fender, you need to know exactly what you are buying. Some of these guitars are excellent, many are not. And dealers know the mythology works in their favor. Vintage Fender Stratocaster sounds like gold. CBS-era hardware is not gold. It's a cost-cutting era dressed in vintage clothes. Number 1. The Fender Custom Shop Relic Stratocaster. This is the one that will truly disturb you. Prices start around $4,000. Some models reach $8,000, $10,000, or more. The sell is authenticity, artificially aged nitrocellulose finish, hand-wound pickups, master builder craftsmanship. You are buying what looks and feels like a 50-year-old guitar, new. Here's the disturbing part. Players who tested 23 custom shop relic models alongside American Vintage 2 instruments at half the price reported they could hear no meaningful sonic difference. One returning player, who spent 40 minutes with a custom shop through a 68 Princeton Reverb reissue, described the finish aging as somewhat naive. It looked performed rather than earned. A custom shop guitar that costs $8,000 should be objectively transformative. Multiple reviewers found it was not. You are paying, in large part, for controlled artificial aging, paint distressing, fake wear marks, relic work performed on a production line. The relic is manufactured nostalgia, and guitar companies know that players will pay almost any price for the feeling of owning a piece of history. That feeling is a product. It's been designed, tested, and priced for maximum emotional extraction. The guitar underneath is excellent. The premium on top of that is marketing. But here's what should truly concern every guitar buyer. If the Stratocaster market operates like this, brand mythology masking inconsistent production, artificial vintage premiums, corporate subsidiaries optimizing beginner gear for margin, what does that tell you about what you're actually getting when you trust a headstock logo over a hands-on inspection? Now, here are the three that are actually worth your money. The Squier Classic Vibe Stratocaster, around $300, has a bone nut, which the Fender player above it does not. Alnico single-coil pickups voiced with real character, and a build quality that reviewers consistently describe as punching 80% as good as guitars costing 3 times as much. It is a genuine Stratocaster that pleases and sounds like one. The Fender American Professional 2, around $1,500, is where quality control becomes reliable. Bone nut is standard. The V-Mod 2 pickups are genuinely excellent, and owners report arriving from the factory in consistently good condition. You pay more, but you get what you pay for. And the G&L Tribute Legacy, around $700, is a guitar designed by Leo Fender himself after he left Fender. Literally the final evolution of the Stratocaster from its original creator, with slightly better hardware than the player Strat at a lower price. Most guitar buyers have never heard of it. That's exactly why it's worth knowing about. The Stratocaster is the best-selling guitar design in history. Most of the guitars sold under that shape are not what they appear to be. Read specs, play before you buy, trust the instrument in your hands over the story on the box. Subscribe. The amp investigation drops next. You need to see what's inside those vintage stacks.